So I looked over to the fruit bowl, and I saw a set of bananas kind of looking like this. And I thought, it's a day for banana bread. So I'm going to make some banana bread. I've just set the oven for 325. And I've got a collection of stuff in front of me. I've got equal parts, about a cup of flour, a cup of sugar, about, as long as they're the same, about half that amount of some kind of nuts. I've got some pecans here. And because my family demands I put chocolate chips in it, I've got some chocolate chips. And a couple of eggs, though I've done it with one egg, and it comes out just fine. So all approximations, you can throw in. Often what I measure with is either one of these, a little jar for canning, or glass for drinking. That's how, if I really want to, throw in equal amounts, that's kind of what I look for. But this is such a good recipe that you can change it a bit. I also have a cup of water, what is this? Butter. And because I'm lazy, I stick it in the microwave and melt a little bit, and that's what I start with. So let's get going, because this is real easy. Throw it together and throw it in the oven. So there's my stick of butter. Here's my about a cup of flour, more or less, same with sugar, and I'll crack open a couple eggs. 1, 2, if I need to. And because I'm going to use a beater, I'm not going to add the nuts or the chocolate chips, because I don't want those beat up. But I'm going to throw together a couple of the, bananas. Bananas that my cousin made this, and she used to say the browner the better. I've also put in apples, other fruit you can put in. I put in peaches once, and that came out pretty well. Just what fruit you need to move along with. Nobody in my family eats bananas like this, so it seems to be a good thing, because they all eat this. Okay, here's the bananas. I'm going to throw in some salt. Yeah, and because I really like vanilla, and I'm using Mexican vanilla here, and I'm using actually a blend of some real stuff and some not real stuff, but I find I can't. Just putting a capful in. I'm inclined to put too much, because I really like vanilla. And then baking soda. I've actually used baking powder here, baking soda. And a lot of this depends on what altitude you live at. I find I live at 6,000 feet, so this is about how much I put in. You can see my exact measurement. But again, such a robust recipe. Because I'm lazy, I can do this. And it's really kind of amazing how this all gets worked up pretty well. Okay, so I beat it thoroughly with the mixer, and now I'm going to stir in the nuts. And you want to consider your audience. Some people have allergies to nuts. Some people don't like nuts. I like walnuts in this. Pecans are a favorite. Some of my family members like it. Some don't. So I usually moderate that a little bit. Just for me, I'd add a full cup, double what I did. A lot of chocolate chips. We like chocolate chips. There's going to be those who say, no, not so much chocolate chips. And you'll see how loose and watery and easy to stir this is. What I'm going to do now is just pour it into some prepared pans. And by prepared, it just means buttered and floured, or greased and floured, whatever you do. You could also use parchment paper. So I'm going to do this, and then I want to give somebody a little bit of banana bread. So I've also buttered a little container here, but usually 8x8 or 10x10 will do it. If you use a larger loaf pan, this recipe ends up not cooking as well in the middle. So you make it pretty flat, and so I just poured it in here. I'm going to spread it out so it goes in the corners. I don't think you really have to do that. It's going to cook for about an hour at 325, and it should be a pretty dark brown when you're done with it. So let me stick it in the oven, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like let's look at it in about 50 minutes to see. Hey, let's look at it in the oven. It's been almost 50 minutes, and it's looking like we might be getting closer. So you can see how dark the small one is. I want to take that out the smaller cooks a little more quickly. And you can see, I don't know if you can see now, how it's leaving the side of the pan. There's a space in between there. And this is looking like it could go a little bit further to get darker brown, but it's bouncing back when I touch it. And it's also, yeah, almost left. I'm going to leave this in for, I'm going to leave the bigger one in for another couple minutes, and I'm going to take out the darker one. But it smells amazing. So here these are, banana bread with chocolate chips and pecans. And I'm going to let it cool just a little bit before I dive into it and show you what the texture is. It's going to kind of be like cake, but a little heavier because of the fruit. But again, oh my goodness, it smells wonderful. So we've let this cool a little bit. I can cut out a little piece and show you what it looks like. It's pretty yummy. It's more of a dessert, but I'm going to put it under breakfast foods and desserts. I hope you've enjoyed this. Cooking without measuring, throwing it in, throwing all the stuff in the bowl and beating it up makes it quick and delicious, and it's robust, so even if you make a couple mistakes, it's still pretty good. Oh, just one more shot. This is really good. The nuts are great. I love pecans in it, and there's enough chocolate to satisfy my sweet tooth. Enjoy this one.